Jimmy Kimmel is back on the air after being suspended indefinitely by ABC Disney following a contentious monologue criticizing how the MAGA movement was handling the death of Charlie Kirk. His show Jimmy Kimmel Live will return to broadcast this Tuesday. The story began when Kimmel, in mid-September, made remarks about the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Kimmel said that many in MAGA were, quote, working very hard to capitalize on the murder of Charlie Kirk and accused them of trying to, quote, characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, unquote, alleging a political cover-up or at least an attempt to shift responsibility. Criticism came fast. Conservative outlets, ABC affiliate station owners like Nexstar and Sinclair, and the FCC chair Brendan Carr all weighed in. Carr warned ABC that there could be consequences, including possible license revocations if Disney did not act. Affiliates preempted the show, that is, they refused to broadcast it. Disney suspended the show indefinitely. Many saw this as a capitulation to political pressure, as well as a dangerous moment for free speech in the United States. The reaction from the cultural, political, and media spheres was intense. Over 400 Hollywood stars, actors, directors, musicians signed an open letter organized by the ACLU condemning the suspension as a violation of free speech. John Oliver called it a canary in the coal mine. Other late-night hosts like Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and Jon Stewart issued statements defending Kimmel and decrying the broader implications for media freedom. On the political front, some Republicans criticized the FCC's involvement and cautioned against government pressure on media companies. Democrats also spoke out, saying the suspension looked like censorship. The decision to bring Kimmel back came after, quote, thoughtful conversations between Disney executives and Kimmel. The network said the remarks had been ill-timed and insensitive, which contributed to the suspension, but after considering the backlash and implications, ABC decided to reinstate the show. That said, there are still unresolved issues. Some affiliate owners like Sinclair say they will not air the episode after reinstatement, at least not until Kimmel meets certain conditions: an apology to Charlie Kirk's family, a donation to Turning Point USA, and other concessions. Also, the broader question remains, what precedent is being set here for comedy, political commentary, and free speech under pressure from government or regulatory bodies? What this moment reveals is a convergence of several forces: political polarization, regulatory oversight, especially from the FCC, corporate risk aversion, and public expectation about what speech is permissible, especially when it involves accusations or speculation in the middle of politically charged events. The suspension of a popular figure like Kimmel becomes a test case. How far will networks go to avoid backlash, regulatory trouble, or loss of affiliate or broadcast support? At what cost to speech? And how these decisions ripple out, how many self-censor or modify tone just to avoid conflict. It also shows that public opinion, especially among media creators and artists, still carries weight. The signatures, protests, celebrity statements, all that pushed the pendulum back. Disney likely felt the pressure not just from regulators and affiliates, but from reputational risk, potential subscription cancellations, or ad revenue loss. Furthermore, this incident highlights the unclear boundaries between commentary and misinformation, especially in fast-developing stories where not all facts are known. Kimmel's comments included speculation about what political identity or group the shooter might belong to before authorities had definitively established those facts. That makes the free speech issue more complex. To what extent is speculation permitted, especially on public platforms? When does political speech cross into defamation or misleading the public? When does it become irresponsible? Regulators and networks are trying to answer those, often under intense scrutiny. It also throws into relief how free speech operates differently in different parts of the media ecosystem. For example, late-night shows, cable versus broadcast, streaming versus affiliate, the role of regulators like the FCC, and how corporate ownership plays into who can say what. In cases like this, broadcast networks are more exposed to regulatory pressures. Comedy and satire have historically pushed boundaries, but recent events suggest those boundaries might be shrinking under political and regulatory scrutiny. John Oliver pointed this out when he called Kimmel's suspension a warning for anyone doing satirical or critical commentary. To look ahead, Kimmel's reinstatement doesn't erase the implications. Affiliates still withholding broadcast may limit his reach in certain markets. The conditions being demanded, apology, donation, represent a new form of leverage, not regulation by a legal adjudication, but by a business relationships and affiliate control. Whether other broadcasters or hosts get similarly targeted will test whether this becomes a new norm. Also, how the FCC behaves going forward. Will they try to impose formal rules, tighten the guidelines about what hosts can or can't say, or will pushback force restraint? One of the big risks is chilling effect, not just on comedians, but on journalists, writers, creators. People might avoid certain topics or tones for fear of backlash, regulatory scrutiny, or being deplatformed. And in a polarized environment, what was once considered fair game commentary may now invite serious consequences. In the end, Jimmy Kimmel's reinstatement is a partial win for free speech advocates, but the battle isn't over. This episode underlines how fragile the ecosystem of political commentary is when subject to regulatory and political pressures. It shows that speech, especially satire or critical commentary, can be much more vulnerable than many assume. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this and other culture, law, media fights.